Hello, hello, hello. Um, well, this video came as a bit of a surprise because I think every day I'm like, no, I won't do another video. I'll give it a few days, give it a week maybe. And then just a word pops into my head and I think, wow, I'd like to talk about that. And that's what these videos are. They're my personal accounts, personal blogs. Hopefully people can relate to them or learn or some, just get what you want from them. Even if it's nothing, just just listen to my Birmingham tone, so to speak. So anyway, I'll waffle on. Yep. So I've just got back from a meditation, so to speak. And a thought come to my mind, and the word was, in all honesty, it was from a Mariah Carey song called "Outside," and the song basically is about feeling outside, feeling different, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Um, you know, I think we all feel very different in some ways to certain groups or peers that we think we want to belong to. But actually, is there an inside? Everyone feels outside. There's 8 billion people on the planet now. And I think all of us are individual, every single one of us. And it's like we can sort of categorize ourselves or put ourselves in a group, but actually we're still individual within those groups. And don't get me wrong, I'm not professing to understand what it's like to be black or Asian or understand racism or anything that I haven't experienced myself, but I'm talking from a perspective of just feeling different. And I think when I was younger, it was I just believed in magic and things like that. And in all honesty, I love putting a skirt on. My cousin would send my sister over some clothes. They wouldn't fit my sister. I'd be in a tracksuit, an all-in-one tracksuit. When everyone went out the house, I'd put my cousin's skirt on. So I knew something was different, but I just assumed every guy was like that, and I just assumed every man had the same feelings and had the same things going on. So, but then in the same breath, I also didn't want to talk about it. Deep down, I knew it was different. I say different. Obviously now I've met gay people like myself. Well, just gay people in general, and see, there's a box I've put myself in, but and obviously you realise you're not that different. There was a point, I think, when I was a teenager where I felt, oh my god, I'm the only person that feels like this. I'm the only, like when I was depressed. It's like, gosh, I'm the only person that feels like this. Like, do I need to talk about it? Should I talk about it? No, don't talk about it because it's so strange. It's like, you should be normal. You've got to be normal. And I think that was the thing when coming out as gay. I thought in my town, especially, Tamworth is not a small town, but I thought, oh my gosh, I'm the only person. I am the only person. And then I met my first partner and realised I wasn't. Then I went to a gay club and certainly realised I wasn't. But then, as well as that, within the gay community, I met some amazing people. I had some amazing times, and I really did. Also whilst trying to find myself. But then there was something else. I still felt like I didn't fit in. And obviously I think that was down to the more spiritual side of myself. I realised there were certain things I seen or thought or believed or felt, mainly feelings with me. I'm not one of those that, people that know me know the things I do, but I'm not one of those that stands there and goes, I see dead people or anything, because that's not a gift I have, so to speak. But there are people out there that do that can do that. And in some respects, you shouldn't have envy, but you're bound to look again. Even in that group, I was like, oh gosh, I wish I was like them. I wish I was like them. Then eventually I was like, actually, I admire my own gifts. I admire what I've got. So I tend to feel more. I tend to feel more what's around me, feel energies and things like that. But, just feeling like you're on the outside of anywhere, of any group. And it starts off at primary school, really. You feel segregated from certain groups that you want to be in. Like, even if I was in one type of group, I'd be like, oh, I wish I was more intelligent. And if I was in a sort of in top sets and stuff, then I'd be like, I wish I was like that. I wish I was a dancer. I wish I was. And in the end, you just drive yourself mad and things like that. Those worries I mean, I must admit now I'm an adult. I wish that was all I had to worry about. But when you're a child, that's the biggest thing in the world. And these things do affect you when you're older, because things like bullying and that. And I think my mum thought I was bullied a lot more than I was. And I wasn't. You know, the odd person used to call me gay, and you know they were onto something. Because I didn't know I was just like, this is strange. There's a feeling there. But like I've mentioned in a previous video, I really like to ignore my feelings, and I like to just bury them down. And but got that down to a fine art, thinking that was the right thing to do, because you feel like you're not imposing on people and you're not putting it on people. When actually you're not feeling what you're absolutely supposed to be feeling, and eventually it comes out, whether it's self-destructive or it's or you're just getting the wrong relationships. It's like you're almost looking, with these relationships, sometimes you're almost looking for your fixer, whether it's like a mothering energy, or it's like some sort of control. It's like you need that because it's almost like you feel like you're out of control. But ultimately, obviously, what you've got to do is almost kind of, well, you haven't got to, but is try and regain that control about yourself, spend time on your own, really sort of spend that time within yourself. But anyway, I just wanted to address, like, no one's outside, you know, and you should never feel like you're outside. So you should never feel, you might be different, but so is everyone. Every single person is different. If one person's trying to be like another person, eventually their real self will rebel against that, and their real self will have an issue with it and actually have something to bring up and, so to speak, say about it in their own way, whether it's anger or like I say, self-destructive behaviour. And I think as someone who's fat, it's like, don't get me wrong, you know, as a 6'2" white gay male, it was like, you know, it was who's very spiritual and he thinks quite differently. I was like, oh God, I'm different, you know. Obviously the spirituality in the gay part, and you know. But actually everyone is. Absolutely everyone is. So we all have our individual qualities, we all have our individual strengths, we all have our individual weaknesses, and it's like it's about, and this is what I think the human race has lost quite a lot of. It's about supporting and helping, you know, like the elderly or someone pregnant. It's like nurture, just almost respecting those people and understanding everyone's journey. Like being kind costs you nothing, and I think, you know, you could say something to someone and you don't know how it might affect their day. I've done it myself. I've said something and it's almost like honesty, and I think, you know, that just needed to be said. Well, that person could have already been having a bad day, or they could already feel quite alone or segregated, and I just think just understanding someone's, you don't need to understand their whole journey, just ultimately being kind and understanding that everyone's got their own things, everyone's an individual, everyone thinks differently. No two people think the same. None of us have the same fingerprints. You know, we've all got our own personality fingerprints, and we all very much are our own person. So yeah, I just wanted to address that really. Feeling like you're on the outside. It was a video I didn't even imagine to make, but then just this morning it just came to me, and I thought it would be nice to sort of say, you know, we're all on the outside, but on the outside of what? You know, what are we measuring ourselves up to? And I think accepting yourself as an individual. If you don't like something about yourself, obviously, you know, if, say, for example, I don't like the weight I've put on or not put on, or then I'll do something about that. Things that are within control. But ultimately, you yourself, you know, so long as you're a kind person, as long as you're a decent person, I don't think you have anything to worry about, because, you know, I have this saying sometimes. I like when people say things and they're talking to me about someone, and I'm like, well, they're not killing a kitten, are they? They're not doing anything malicious, unless no one wakes up and goes, right, I'm going to be controlling, right, I'm going to be like that today. Some people just are that way, but ultimately some people are just genuinely nice. And if you, like I mentioned in the previous video, if you recognise a trait within someone else, and I noticed I focused on the negative trait, actually, if you notice someone is a kind person, you recognise that within someone, actually you have that within yourself. you know, because you've recognised the trait. It's a familiar trait. You've seen that somewhere before, and it's because you have it within yourself. And I think taking that away with us today, we can just kind of almost ponder on it, not worry about being within a clique or a group. And I know that that's a part of growing up and part of being a child, but if I'd have known that I was okay, me alone, I am enough. You know, that in itself, I am enough. I had to write 3 words down in a mindfulness class once, and it was to write a letter to yourself. And those 3 words, I just put, I am enough. And it was just mind-blowing, because you just don't realise it. You think you've got to be how everyone else wants you to be. So anyway, I hope this video reached you well, and I'm trying to keep them to 10 minutes because there's so many places my head goes. So I'm really like, you can almost see it as I'm talking. Like I'm almost like, right, condense it down, like hold it in. But yeah, I hope you understand where I was going with this video, and you know, don't ever feel like you've got to blend in or anything. You know, be you, be yourself. Believe in yourself.